Hey, True Believers, Englentine here with a review and comparison between She-Ra and She-Ra, the Princess of Powers. Full disclosure. This is the second time I'm recording this. I did one where I had clips and the whole 9 yards and made sure that, I could show what I was talking about and everything. I actually took it right off the TV, held the camera, the whole 9 yards. That way I could fast forward through things. So there was never like any, because you could only have a 10-second clip. If you use anything more, they say 15 seconds. And I've seen some of the bigger channels go longer. But if you use anything more, you're going to get struck or you're going to get it taken down. So I made sure that any clip I played was less than 10 seconds just to be safe. And it still got banned. It got the message I got was NBC's claiming this and will not allow you to show it anywhere. And I wonder if it had anything to do with the nature of the review and the fact that let me get to it. Okay, so I watched the show here and I decide I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to watch the first episode of She-Ra, the new one, and then I'm going to go back and watch the first episode of the original, and let's see which one is better. Let's see which one I think is worth watching. So I've got to admit, I don't have a dog in this race. I was not a fan of the original. I wasn't even a fan of He-Man that came after me. It's like I was a little bit out of the cartoon scene as far as that kind of stuff was concerned. The Transformers and the He-Man. I mean, God bless, my brother loved them, had the toys and everything. It just wasn't for me. So anyway, I figured I could do this and I would be pretty good at it because, once again, no dog in the race, so it would be an honest review. So I put on She-Ra, Princess of Power, the new one, and this is something I've been talking about because we heard nothing about the storyline, only that it was going to be incredibly identitarian. It was going to be filled with identity politics. That's all this was sold on. Oh, this guy's gay. Oh, she's going to be fat because of body affirmation. We're going to make sure that this person has two fathers. We're going to, it was never about the story. So I was interested to find out how bad this was, but I'm only going to watch the first episode for a comparison. I'll watch the rest later, give a full review. That's not happening. That is not freaking happening. I am never going to watch this show again. Not because they blocked it, but because this is a piece of crap. I mean, this is a really bad show. Now, here's the thing. The first issue, I'm so used to comic books. The first episode is actually not bad as far as the identity politics is concerned. It really isn't. I mean, granted, the black kid who they made gay, and people are like, oh, I can't believe they made that guy gay. We're going to get to that in a moment. But that guy is obviously supposed to be gay. And but it's not like they shove it in your face or anything. He just is. And that's the way I think characters should be. Now, granted, this is the first episode. If you've watched more and it's like, oh, wow, you should see what happens in this episode. I don't care. I don't need to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. I'm going to be talking about the cat girl. I'm going to be talking about the one lady that's dressed like a bird. I'm going to be talking about the princess in the biker pants. I don't care what their names are anymore. I'm never going to watch another episode of She-Ra ever in my entire life. Anywho, let's get to it. So it opens up. We find out this She-Ra girl, she's a part of, what is it, the Volgon or something like that. I'm not research. I've already done it. I watched this show twice just to do the last thing. So anyway, she's being trained to be a warrior. And one day she's messing around with her cat friend. And, oh, by the way, I got to talk about that cat friend. Oh, this is the original one anyway. Anyway, I got to talk about that cat friend because all throughout the damn show, she's touching She-Ra during her conversation. Sometimes she grabs her by the arms. Sometimes there's a lot of face touching. It's just weird. It's like John Travolta at the Oscars. It's just too much face touching, John. Just stop. they are on a skiff, and it ends up crashing into the woods, and She-Ra sees a bright light, and the sword calls to her, but this girl, I think her name's Spinnerella or something like that, she goes after it and is like, oh, you're a member of the evil Horde. Horde, that was it, the evil Horde she was working for. And she goes, we're just the Horde, we're not evil. And then they're like, hey, you don't know what you guys do. And so they fight over this sword thing, and she grabs onto it, and she turns into, I guess, She-Ra. And wow, it is bad. The animation in this is bad. And the scene where, because I'm watching, I'm going, okay, her design is not all that horrible when she's just regular girl in the Horde outfit, but once she becomes She-Ra, it's fugly. I mean, this thing is fugly, the way she looks. It just isn't good. I guess another thing I really have to talk about that bothered me is the designs. Now, of course, leading up to it, I thought the designs were horrible. But when you see them in action, it's actually worse. The backgrounds are fine, except the designs of the characters do not look like they belong in those backgrounds. So the art is way off. It just doesn't fit. It really doesn't fit. But man, I could at least forgive that, because I'm used to 1980s animation, and I could forgive, you know, a little bit of bad animation on a kid's cartoon if it wasn't for the fact that the dialogue is horrible. The dialogue is that you could tell that, what is her name, Noah Wiley or something like that, the person who wrote this is raised on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so they try to do that slick modern talk, but there's no grandeur to it. There's nothing to say, hey, we're in a different dimension with all these weird creatures or anything like that. So it really, what should be cool and flowing dialogue ends up sounding very stilted. Very, very stilted. Which actually is how the voice actors are reading it. I mean, the voice acting is incredibly stilted. It's just bad. It's really, really bad. And that's not even adding the identity politics to it. That's just incompetence. So then I decide, okay, I'm going to watch the original, because I really want to know, is the original better than the new one? Is it just a design thing? Is the story better? Am I going to enjoy it better? So I turn it on, Filmation, of course, 1980. So the animation is, what, like 30 years behind? And the thing is, the designs are so much better. And they're designing them for action figures. They wanted to sell toys. That was the whole point of He-Man and She-Ra. So everything looks cool. And that, I think, is where the new one falls. The designs are so much cooler in the original. I actually want to see that, or at least I wanted to see old style with a new animation style. That would have been a little better. I think the new one wins because, in some ways, because the new one's the first episode. Damn it, the first episode is all about She-Ra, while the first episode of the original is about He-Man finding She-Ra. So if you're going to look at it and go, hey, I want to watch She-Ra, that first episode, it's not as strong, I think, except in a few places. World building. You get to meet a lot of the characters you're going to see in the cartoon, so it's a lot better off. Let's see. Yeah, definitely. I would have to see that. That's the main thing. You like the characters a little more. The designs are better. There's shading. Like the new one looks like everything's primary colors, while there's depth to the art in the original. So on that level, it's better. Voice acting is horrible. By the way, I did think that Prince Eric sounded like Comics Division, and I actually had a clip of it to compare, but god dang it, I got struck, and I'm not going to do that again. I'm kind of ticked while I'm doing this, by the way, and that's why you're seeing pictures and it's not matching everything I'm saying, because I spent all damn day on a video, and now I'm like, just get it out there. Get your opinion out there. I apologize for the half-assery of this. So I get to the part where you see this Aragorn figure, and he's got kind of like a Teddy Ruxpin kind of thing, but it's a butterfly on his shoulder, and it turns out to be what the black kid in the new one, but it's, you know, the original version. And of course, everybody was mad. They turned him gay. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. I watched this guy move. I watched the way he was designed, and I saw how he talked. That guy was gay back in the 80s as well. They may not have said anything. Yeah, that dude definitely was lighting the loafers. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but complaining that the new kid is gay when you didn't see it in the last one. Sorry, guys, you lost on this one. So, yeah, one's as good as the other. Oh, and the tiger. That tiger. That tiger up its... yeah. The tiger. Seriously. The voice acting on that thing is so horrible. I hated every time he opened his mouth. Hated that fucking tiger. I really did. So the original loses a lot on that fucking tiger, which I guess is actually a He-Man character. But for the first episode, that tiger. Damn, that was a bad character. Hated that damn tiger. Hated that tiger. Ugh. Anyway, so overall, which one would I pick? Which one? Is it the new one, the old one? I really think they should combine, like, the modern day designs, even if they wanted the storyteller, because neither would have been better, because neither one of them are great. Both of them sucked. Sorry if you're a big She-Ra fan. If you were of the time, I wasn't. This is the first time I really saw them, and I came into it late. Oh, let's see. What would I pick? Like, if I had to pick one of them, I think, in all honesty, and I'm never going to watch another episode again, but if I were to actually choose to, I would probably go with the 1980s. I like the art better. I think it just looked more exciting. And here's part of the problem. I mentioned how stilted the dialogue and stilted the voice acting was of the new one. The voice acting is really bad in the original as well, but it's over the top bad. You know, they made these silly voices like, "Oh, I'm the evil guy. Hee, aren't I like a goblin? Hee. And it was over the top bad. And I'll pick over the top over stilted and boring any day. So forget any identity politics or anything like that. The new cartoon sucks on so many different levels, you don't even have to bring up identity politics. In all honesty, if you're looking for a reason to yell and scream about identity politics, or if you're looking for a reason to scream about my childhood is killed, I don't think this is the hill to die on. The original wasn't that great. And the new one is a failure on so many different levels, you don't even have to bring up the SJW stuff. And yes, I'm using air quotes when I say that. You really don't. It is, in fact, just an incompetent cartoon. Incredibly incompetent. And I can only assume, and I will only assume, that it's because they focused way too much on presentation, or what they like to call representation. I call presentation, because they don't care if this is done well. They just care if they put it out there. And I think because they did that, the story has suffered. So yeah, I would pick the original over the new one any day. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? What do you think about the new cartoon? Have you seen it? If so, why? Also, if you like this video, you want to see more, click like. Don't forget to share, because that gets word out about the channel. If you haven't done it already, hit subscribe, the notification bell, and if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on and helps keep making videos for you. Like, thank everybody who's already done that, and to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.